Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Iron Sharpens Iron. I'm Jose.
I'm Felipe.
And I'm Kiari.
We got Kiari here. He's going to be our reoccurring special guest. So glad to have him on here. And today we have an amazing, powerful episode. And today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Stay tuned.
Woo.
All right, guys, welcome back to Iron Sharpens Iron. Today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. We got 3 points that each of us have. We each have stories. We have definitions on what forgiveness means to us. And we're also going to speak about how it makes us feel and some ways and steps that you can do to begin to forgive. So we're going to kick it off with what does forgiveness mean to you and our personal definition. And we'll have Felipe start it off.
So, forgiveness to me is truly letting go of the past and not bringing up old things. As simple as that. It's just not being bitter about things or just your attitude towards stuff. So yeah, just truly letting go of the past and not bringing up old things. That's, for me, it's truly just forgiveness.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, forgiveness is not allowing the person or people, whatever it is, the entity, to allow them to have that power over your life. You know, once you forgive somebody, you're basically telling them and telling yourself, like, I can move on.
Yeah.
I can now start doing things that matter to me
That
and
thing
not
you
things,
did, yeah.
you know, that thing that I didn't want to do because whatever happened, you know, it pushed me away from it. Now I can attack that. I can
Okay.
now conquer that, you know? And I feel like it's just steps, it's obstacles.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
That was you?
Good one.
yeah.
All right, cool. So kind of has something similar. So the definition for me on forgiveness is letting go of things that have wronged you and not allowing them to have any power over you, which brings more peace to your life and more space for you to begin to love. And I think when you hold that resentment towards somebody and you hold that anger, whatever it is, the bitterness, it keeps you from opening your heart even more. It actually closes your heart. And I think the biggest thing in life is to serve and to love wholeheartedly. So that's my definition of forgiveness. We'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. We have who have you forgiven and how did it make you feel?
Cool. So, who I've forgiven, it's a big one for me, is my mom. So, I've forgiven her for a lot of, she had been heavily drinking, and so she's definitely gone off the rails on the drinking. So it's definitely one that I've forgiven her just for just recently, like how my birthday came up, and it just reminds me of like when she was in jail, and I got a birthday card from her, and then the time, like, she got a DUI, totaled my car. She's thrown juice on me and like broken glass on me and cut me. So it's just we've been through it, man, and it definitely took me a long time to forgive her. But yeah, that's, for me, it was a big one, forgiving my mom, especially because it's my own parent. So it's not just some friend or even
Not
a
a
cousin
random
or
person.
something. Yeah,
Person that birthed you.
yeah. So that was a big one for me, and it's a constant battle still. But I have forgiven the old. It's just kind of like a constant battle of forgiving stuff that comes up still to this day. So, but I have forgiven her, especially for the past. So that's who I've forgiven.
And how does that make you
Yeah,
feel
I-
that you've lifted that weight off your
Yeah,
shoulders?
so if before it was a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a ton of bitterness, and always just kind of wondering, like, in the back of my head, like, should I solve this today or just, keep going about my day and it'll fix itself kind of thing. But it's like, it's just building up tension
Yeah.
and not allowing me to just be good. Because it's, for me, being good with everyone is just, there's already enough stress going on. And I just want to be good with everyone so that I know that there isn't another human out there that's thinking negatively of me, or
Right.
not to say my mom's thinking negative. She's always
resentment.
super positive with me and stuff, but it's once the drinking, so but then once I forgave her, it was more just being able to keep showing her love,
Yeah.
even through the tough situations, and just keep loving her. And for me, forgiving someone and say they continue to do that stuff, if you truly forgive them, you're just gonna, maybe it'll upset you for a day or two, but you're just gonna center back to loving them because you truly forgive
Yeah.
them, and so
You accept them for who
yeah,
they
so
are,
it's
Yeah.
it's
and you
taken
let them live their life.
yeah,
And
so
you
it's
live
definitely
yours.
taken away a lot of negative feelings and like physical like tension, and to where it's just letting it go and praying for her and just and forgiving her and yeah, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be my mom, big
Okay.
time.
Nice.
Feel that. All right. Well, I'm a compound on what you were saying. Yeah, mommy issues. Not no, but I can honestly say like a person that I've like forgiven recently, like in a big deal, is my mom. And me and my mom have always been close. Like she's always showed up for me through everything that I've needed, came to every single event or anything that I've needed. But like I feel like our lives and like the trauma that we've had in our lives, like once we got older, it started to create a rift,
Mm-hmm.
and like we started to become like where we needed space.
That's
You
a
know?
perfect example because exactly, I didn't want to say like my mom's been a drunk her whole life. It literally didn't happen until I was like last year of high school. So yeah, it's like
We
a
got
nurturing
older.
mom, right? But you start kind of like gapping.
You start gapping, and
Yeah.
it's like we were so close. I think we were so close that like we needed that gap to be stronger, but also like we needed that gap to be able to work on each other because it would have just been like us tearing each other down if I would have been like
Not
next
really
to her
finding
every single,
yourself, right?
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have been able to find myself. I
Become
was
your
just
own man.
I
Yeah,
literally would
yeah.
have still been living with her to this day.
Yeah,
You know, if
yeah.
I would have never left.
Like
So,
it's like kind of like you do have to as a man also separate,
Yeah.
kind of find
Mhm.
yourself. But I'm noticing as I'm getting older now in my 30s, I'm almost like trying to hang out with my mom more again.
Mhm.
Now that
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm done with the like clubbing. I'm done with hanging
Yeah.
out with like dumb friends. You know,
Yeah.
like all my friends, I could actually have them around my mom now. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so it's kind of like I want to get closer to my mom as
Mhm.
I'm older now.
Mhm.
I think it's just natural for us, especially as men, to
Yeah.
kind of stray away
Yeah.
and find out who you are. You
Yeah.
know, and so. But it's you said it perfectly, bro. It's like your mom raised you great and all these things, but somehow it doesn't feel like it's like a natural separation almost.
Mhm.
No, it kind of feels like it's like a kind of like you go your way, I'll go mine.
Yeah.
Instead of naturally being like, hey, I'll call you up. It's kind of like for me, it's now more like slowly, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And texting.
And that's how it is with me too, because like
sending daily photos of stuff.
now I feel like I'm older and like the life that I live is a lot different than they expect. Like my family expected me to live when I was growing up, and I feel like my mom sometimes is stuck on what my life was expected to be.
Mm.
You know, and she thinks
100%,
she
bro.
thinks
Yep.
that she
That's
messed
my
that
opinion.
up, but she
Yeah.
has to realize that everybody has their own
path,
their own ride, their own thing that they gotta go on. Like
Yeah.
this life is a train.
What
You feel me?
matters
Like,
is that you're not physically hurting yourself,
Yeah.
mentally destroying yourself.
and that's I literally tell her
like,
that all the time. I say, all of your kids have all our bones. We're all intact. We're all
Yeah.
good. Everybody got our own. We're just living our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when everybody's eyes started getting expanded to the world. Like we
Yeah.
start being like, hey, what's over here? Like what's up? We're not all gonna just be at home.
But that
But
that shows me the level of love that our mothers have for us. Like
Mhm.
for her to have that such high expectation for her son,
Yeah.
and it's her fault for being disappointed. But for
Yeah.
her to have that level of like, my son is going to be this, or she
Yeah.
envisions so much for you,
hmm
that unconditional love. Like my mom's very pushy. My mom is very like on me all the time, and we
Mhm.
used to buck heads a lot.
Yeah.
And now I flipped that irritation feeling to like, my mom loves me, like no matter what I do.
And you be like, damn, I got somebody calling me
Yeah.
every day or
Yeah.
like all the time trying to check up on me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like with me, it's kind of flipped because now like I think my mom has always been the mom for everybody in her family. Now she's older and she's like, I need everybody to realize and come back and pour that love into
Mom
me.
and dad,
you
probably.
know, mom and dad.
It's kind of
So-
like you invest all this love and time into your kids. You hope that they come back and love you. You
Mhm.
know, like on you, how you love them unconditionally when you didn't know a word. You know, like
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that
and
makes sense.
I think just me constantly telling her that I forgive her, like that is to a parent that means so much to them because like they feel they know what they've done, they know how they feel,
They
and
act like they don't.
sometimes they act like they don't, but like behind
No, they
closed
know
doors,
Yeah.
exactly
behind
what
closed
they know.
doors it eats them, and some
But
parents
that's why I
can't
tell
hide
you, they're
that.
human.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's
And
their
I tell
first life.
I tell
We're gonna
my
make mistakes.
I tell my
We make
mom
mistakes.
I tell my mom like whatever you did shaped, like you said, it shaped me to be the person that I am today.
Yeah,
And I love the person that I am
yeah,
today. You get what I'm saying? Like,
bro, that's a good one because exactly I used to be all about Burberry and this and that, and because I was raised in that kind of atmosphere, you know, of like 100K in marble floors, you know, like literally that type of lifestyle. Whereas I've kind of moved on from that, and I literally rather wear a skater T-shirt or a blank T-shirt.
you like what you
and
like.
Your values are
and
different.
I still love, like you saw, I love the Corvette. I still
Yeah.
like nice things, but I'm not attached to them how I used to, where it's like I gotta have these. If not, I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
Like I literally thought like that. You need to have brands on you, and you need to have this and that, and it's like I've strayed away from that, and my dad has too. So like me and my dad have gone the same way, where like my dad used to be like, pay whatever it is, and now he's like, did you get that on Craigslist? You know, like, so it's like me and him have kind of
Different
flowed the
values.
same way. We start to
Yes.
value like each other more
Mhm.
than like the
brand.
oh, shit. But yeah, exactly. We value each other more than stuff, you know, and I think he noticed that as he kind of walked not out of our family, but kind of like as my parents, you know, broke up the
Separated.
family, he started to realize, dang, I had a family. And so it's like, forget the stuff. Like we lost the stuff, so but we still got each other.
We still got we
And
still
so
here
that's
with each
honestly
other.
for me, I'm growing into that. And then I'm growing more into just truly understanding love and people is more important than stuff and money. And so unfortunately, I feel my mom's still kind of stuck on that, like how you said.
Yeah.
And of course, like I still want money. Don't get me wrong. I want to make a lot of money, but it also because why? So that I can help those around me. It's not so that I could just flex on everyone.
Yeah.
And so I think how you said, my mom saw me as this person, like when I made money when I was 22, 23, I spent like 3 racks on Burberry, you know, right? So she still sees that like, oh yeah, like this kid who just wants to flex and blah blah blah. And so she'll like still get me Burberry and this and that, and I still rock it and love it.
Yeah.
But I never go out of my way anymore to spend a dime on Burberry.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like what you said. It's like your mom still kind of has this path for you, and this certain view of who you should be with, and what you should be doing.
Or even
and
the old
like,
you that they were used to, and they were like,
yeah, and it's kind of like
they-
they're changing you,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like, but I'm changing me and for the better of me.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to understand, I wasn't truly happy. I was empty, trying to find happiness in
Trying
a
to find
Burberry
it.
scarf.
Yep,
Like,
real talk.
dude,
Yeah.
that's not going to bring me. I felt such joy in my Honda Civic. I felt more joy of blissness in my Honda Civic than I ever felt driving any of the 3 Corvettes I've driven. You know, like those are $80,000 whips. And I've never had such fullness driving in that Civic. That God brings me such a peace, that I just like I got it all.
You're
bro.
full.
Like,
You feel
I'm
full.
full. So why would I need to go get
your mom-
Hermes or
Oh, my
Burberry or
goodness,
anything?
yeah.
You know,
And your
like
mom is
feel
probably
something, yeah.
your mom's trying to fill a certain void
that
inside her.
exactly. And so that's where for me it's like it again. It's nice to have all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't need it, and it doesn't make me anymore. It used to make who I am.
Yeah.
You saw me and be like, "Oh, there's the Burberry, blah 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 guy." It's like now it's like, no, that's not me, bro. Like they don't even know. It's be like, "Oh, there's that guy who's always happy and lit and fucking."
Like
on
you just
it, you know, like-
always
Yeah,
energy,
like-
man.
Yeah, like at work, when you ever see me down or negative or like mopey or nothing,
Yeah.
bro, I'm always lit at work. Like
Yeah.
never sad. Like
That's
so-
beautiful.
And that's again bringing back to just forgiving everything, you know,
Yeah.
just moving and
Every
moving
it's
on.
every single day process, man.
So we got
Oh, how did it make me feel? Oh yeah, my bad. We went into the whole thing. Honestly, it just made me feel like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. To be honest, and like you were saying, I was able to now be me, and I was able to now be like, okay, I said my piece finally, and I didn't hurt anybody's feelings, but everybody now knows how I feel.
You
and
express
now,
yourself, yeah.
I express myself, and I now let them know that I still love you. It's just, this is the way that I have to go. I forgive you for everything that you've done, and I'm going to live this. I'm going to live this way, and this is what makes me happy.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel very light.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
feel very light, bro.
That's what I literally, one of the negatives is like that tension.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
the
you got
tension.
weights on you.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
all right.
Go ahead.
So we got mommy issues, I got daddy issues. All right, no, seriously. In all seriousness, my dad, amazing father, most consistent person in my life, wakes up at 3 a.m. Works 15 minutes away from the house, has to be at work by 7, and wakes up at 3 a.m. Just that's the type of mentality he has. Just hard-working guy. But growing up, my brother passed away when I was 5. My brother was 16. It was my dad's firstborn. And after that happened, it was kind of the feeling of like, stay out of dad's way. You know what I mean? Like, don't bother him. Dad's probably sad. Don't bother
Get 'em
dad.
angry, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
working, or he's tired, or stay out of his way. So I really leaned on to my mom a lot growing up. And as I got older and I started to play sports, I would notice the parents with the kids and the investment of love and training and all that stuff, kind of similar like how your dad poured into you with baseball and
Yeah.
spending so much
A
money on
lot of
trainers.
time and
Yeah.
a lot of money.
I was by myself. I was trying to find older brother figures or father figures. I got close to my older sisters.
I think you said
boyfriends.
you paid for training yourself,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to do that in my junior college years. So with that, I was finding figures of fathers because my father was very overprotective over me, but never actually showed love. Like, never was very
Affectionate.
yes, And when I would try to be, it just kind of felt like he was present doing something else and just wasn't really focused on me. And it didn't bother me till maybe like 5-6 years ago, to where I really started to like question things and build more resentment, because anytime I felt like I would give effort, it wasn't reciprocated the way I envisioned it.
Mhm.
And up until recently, I had a conversation with my mom on, why doesn't my dad do more? Why doesn't my dad show me that he loves me? And she's like, are you kidding me? Like, your dad, when you were in school in Kansas, or when you go on a trip somewhere, or we haven't heard from you in like 3 days, he's literally asking me all day, have you talked to him? Have you seen him? Like, what's going on with him? And she'll literally be like, well, why don't you talk to him? And he'll say, oh, I do. I text him. He doesn't text me back. And I'll show my mom the messages, and it's like one word, like, hey, what are you doing?
Mhm.
I'll text him that, and he'll be like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to really respond to that or go off of that. But
It's just the more understanding how
yes,
your dad is.
yeah.
Right?
So that's what happened when
It's
I
not
asked.
that he doesn't love you. It's
Right.
just more the way he is.
When I was
about
asking
it.
my mom, like, hey, why doesn't my dad pour into me more? Why doesn't he give me more love or give me this? He has shown me that my whole life. He showed me the way he loved me my whole life, but I had this unnecessary
Idea.
expectation of
Mhm.
how other fathers
Mhm,
were
mhm,
with their sons. This is just how my dad is. And my mom said it beautifully. She said, this is the capacity that he has to love you and show you. That's how he was raised. This is what he thinks is right. But you have to accept him for that. And once I heard that, and after I got baptized, I just had, kind of like a coming to Jesus moment with, like, that's my father. That's how he loves me. That's how he shows his affection. That's gonna be our relationship. And any little thing that I feel like I need and I get, I need to cherish that even more, because we only have so much time with our parents, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like we are so young, and I feel like our parents are young in a sense,
Yeah, they're not
that we
older.
do have those times to maybe go on a trip with our parents, or maybe do something more that we haven't done. Like, I'm trying to get my dad to go to church, and when I was younger, my dad was trying to get me to go to church. So just little things like that have really opened my eyes as I've gotten older, and just really accept somebody at face value. Some people are only as deep as they allow themselves to be. So if to me, my father is loving me at a service level by my definition, to my dad's definition, he may be giving me his whole heart.
Whole nother
You
level,
know what I mean?
right? That's
He's trying
And
his
that's
best,
why there's
yeah.
such a
Perspective.
big disconnect when,
Yeah.
like, because I'm a lot
Mhm.
I'm like a lot like my mom. We're deep people.
You're
we're
more
logical.
affectionate,
More-
you're
more in
physically
there,
yes.
affectionate, yeah.
So that's how I haven't had a sit down and physically told my dad, like, I forgive you, because I feel like some of the things I express, because there is a disconnect, it may go over his head, or he may even be like, whoa, I didn't even notice that, or even figure that out. I will have a sit down with him and talk to him, but in my heart and in my mind, I have forgiven him for all those things. And it's both, but I feel like it's mostly my fault for wanting something more. But as a child, I'm not wrong in that, because a child should always want more of their parents' attention and love and stuff like that. So, but icing on the cake, I would not be a quarter the man that I am today if it wasn't through those struggles, tribulations, meeting those people And the positive thing, my father is so consistent and hardworking, and is never late and all that stuff. So I've picked up a lot of great. My father never drank. My father never hit my mom. We never had like those toxic relationships.
Yeah, right.
Growing
He may
up.
be missing a few things that you didn't want, but
Right.
he has
Yeah.
a ton of attributes of some kids that they wish their dad was even there.
100%.
The
100%.
fact that your
Big
dad,
facts.
every time I rolled in, your dad's there on the couch
All the time.
It's better. I'd rather have my dad there on the couch to have never seen my father.
Yeah.
Big facts, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you it's like three different
Times,
phases
right?
of our lives, bro. Like not being there, but not there,
invested,
and then
my dad literally like calling me to
overinvested.
go. Let's go. We're gonna go play catch. We got to train today, and I'm like, all right. And then it'd be like, tomorrow we're training with an All-American that I paid. He's gonna train you how to pitch. And it's like, bro, I had $300 Oakley shades when I was like 12 in the outfield. You know, like, it's like
on a rainy day.
There's adults who don't even have that. You know, like yeah. So I could see why. I especially got a lot of hate as a child from other kids. I could see why it's jealousy. Like I could totally get it. Like, to have a dad who not only spent a ton of money on the best equipment, then money on the best trainers, and then himself picked up a glove and caught with you every day. Like that's the crazy part. You know, it was so invested, man. And that's where my dad had a ton of mistakes, but I got to see what a man who truly invests not only all his money and all his time into a child. And so that's where it's like, I know I disappointed him in not continuing baseball, but I know with that work ethic he gave me, I know, and he's told me I've made him proud as I've gotten older and slowly becoming a man. You know, especially in today's world, like where from the time I was 22, I let him live with me for 4 years without paying a dime in rent. To now I've been paying my own rent. I mean, with splitting with my girlfriend, but like been paying my own rent since I was 22, basically. So I know I've made him proud in other aspects, you know. But yeah, man.
I feel like too, a big thing that I've noticed, and I've talked to you about this, is it's not beautiful all the time, but my parents have been together for 35 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I look at no person that I've dated or been in a relationship with or friends, all have divorced parents, all have broken families, and working but my parents are together 35 years. Like it's not beautiful all the time, but they're doing something right. And for my dad to show in and show out every day for my mom, that example to me, growing up, I would just see all the wrong in my dad, and even early adulthood, and now I'm starting to see like all the beautiful things of the relationship.
That's kind of what Gabby said about her dad. Yeah.
35 years, man. I can't even fathom that, but like to be able
and
to
I'm
consistency.
I'm 32.
Like,
I'm 32. So, but it alleviates a lot of stress. It alleviates a lot of expectation, and I'm actually able just to be present with my pops. You know what I mean? And I cherish every time I am with them. And my mom too. We're growing so much now, and
I feel like it. That's why I'm telling you. I think it's like a thing. Once you're 30 and above, you start to slowly go back to your parents because you start to become an adult, and also especially if you start to or stop rebelling so much against like what your parents wanted for you all along. It's funny because my dad used to make me dress up nice for holidays, and I dread it. Now I'm like, gotta put on a
got
like
to,
I want to
bro.
like,
you go to Costco,
literally love it, bro.
Out, like, and it's
Love
hilarious,
it,
bro.
bro.
Like now I'm in dress shoes where before it's like, oh god, I'm gonna get made fun of, like it's like now it's like everyone's like as an adult you're like, dang, nice shoes,
Nice shoes,
so
bro.
it's showing class.
and they were
like,
teaching you from a young age.
they showed me from a young age how to have class, what to eat, how to speak, how to work out.
You took etiquette
everything.
classes, didn't you?
Manners classes, how to have a 7-course meal, where to put your silverware, because if you're a high-end restaurant, if you place your silverware a certain way, the waiter doesn't have to ask you, are you done? They know by the way you've set your silverware that you're done. And they come and pick it up. They don't have to bother you, because imagine you're in conversation. A high-end restaurant better not interrupt your conversation. Whereas like a cheesecake, be like, excuse me, you guys done with this? You're like in the middle of a conversation.
Don't knock cheesecake, all right? Cheesecake has been good.
I'm just kidding. Shout out cheesecake.
All right, so let's move on to the final point, and that is going to be, how would you encourage someone to forgive?
So, forgiving, a way to show forgiveness to others and how to forgive, for me, is just truly forgiving myself, and I don't soak in it. I've noticed the most where I kind of almost start to bash on myself is at work. That's when I kind of, anything to do with work, and
kind of like we said, Darren, you know, like he takes it to another level. But yeah, I've noticed I'll soak in it a little for a second, but then I just move on. I now I'm getting way better at it, where it's like don't dwell on it, because then everything from it's like the classic: you wake up, you stub your toe, and it just snowballs, dude.
Everything,
and all of a sudden my jacket's getting caught on the dang knob. It's like, bro, what's going on? You know?
No,
So yeah, for me, it's just truly forgiving myself, especially with all the mistakes I've made in life. And to have people still say like, "Oh, you're killing it," or "You're doing great," or "Hey, man, you're looking good," or stuff like that. It just shows you that don't soak in BS. You know, just forgive yourself. Try to do it in that moment if you can, just and let it go, and know that everyone around you that you're looking at made a mistake that day, probably that hour. So it's like don't soak in it, because as I was thinking about this question, like how can I inspire others or tell others to forgive yourself? It's just kind of mentioning all the dumb things I've done, you know, and I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm the shining example of like, dang, this dude's living life, but I do have every avenue of life doing great, where I've made a mistake in every single one of those avenues, like to the max, dude, where I've ended up in jail. Like, so again, it's really just forgiving yourself, knowing you're human, don't soak in it, and just move on. And it's easier said than done, especially when you're in the moment.
It's a practice.
And now I think I'm doing now more is literally if I'm driving, doing anything, and it starts to get where that jacket in the doorknob stuck vibe, just stop, breathe, relax, just count to 30, bro. Just stop, because 30 seconds will feel like an hour when you're pissed.
Literally,
you know, like
just let it be
count.
that.
Because 10 seconds is one thing, but you count at 30, it really feels way longer. And it is longer, but it feels way longer. And I'm just doing that recently, and I'm noticing it's calming me down. So I'm just calming down in the moment, forgiving myself in the moment. It's a small mistake. You've made bigger ones, and look, you're still going up. So just let it go. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
I think that's a good one for me. Just showing how to show people to forgive themselves is the best way. Is showing them how I've forgiven myself and all the dumb, kind of telling them all the dumb things I've done. And yet, look, I'm still going up. Yeah, I'm not soaking in it. So don't
get you.
And again, it's easier said than done. Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely gonna need to rewatch this video. That was good. I like that. All right. Subscribe. But for me, I would definitely say like how I would encourage someone to forgive is basically be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, like especially with the person that you are forgiving. If it's not yourself, like whatever people that is you're forgiving. When you do have that convo, first of all, be okay with having a hard convo with that person, because you're gonna have to be able to get out what you need to get out. You know, you don't want to like tiptoe around just because you're trying to not hurt somebody's feelings, and you also don't want to be going into a conversation trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
Yeah. So definitely, all love. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I say just like be comfortable with like getting outside of your shell so that you can.
Yeah, that's kind of because people don't want to forgive because they're kind of scared to jump out of that zone where they're like, you know what,
it's uncomfortable.
I'll just stay here. I know this. I'm angry.
I'm safe.
I'm angry.
I'm
safe. I'm angry.
Yeah, get away.
If I can push everybody away, then I could just be in my bubble.
And I'll be good. I'll be good. But it's like that's not a way to live, you know. And you're gonna be pushing everyone away your whole life.
I tell people that like that are around me all the time. I say like, okay, yeah, somebody might have did something against you, especially like if you were younger. Like somebody might have did something against you in high school, but if you see them like 5-6 years later, they probably don't care about whatever it is that they did. You know,
or
forgot you. I'm telling you, because life hit them.
They even did something that wrong to you.
Yeah. People don't understand. Like life gonna hit you so fast, especially like no matter what you do. So you gotta understand like forgiving and not letting people have that hold on your life. Like you said, the stuck in the doorknob thing. If I'm walking around upset at that specific person, that jacket stuck in the doorknob, as soon as that happens, I'm gonna be blaming that person. Or like if something's wrong with my appearance, I'm gonna be blaming that person that they gave me. You know,
they're like controlling you basically.
You know, and they're controlling literally every single
and they're not even
aspect
there,
that
and
you
they're probably having a sandwich, chilling.
They're at home freaking counting Z's, man, and you're up like just mad at your life, bro, on fire. Why did this person make me this way? Why did this person give me this life?
But you made yourself.
You made yourself this way because you're allowing them to direct every single moment of your day.
100%.
And that's why I say, like, once you're okay with having that hard convo and being like, hey, I understand that you did all this when I was younger, but I forgive you. I forgive you so that I can move forward. Not even for you. I forgive you for myself so that I can now go on with my life and be who I want to.
And you start realizing it's like, wow, it was kind of easier than I thought.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, I feel way better.
Like, I should start forgiving everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, dude, and that's literally like a cliche. People start calling, it's like, I want to forgive you.
Yeah,
like,
you're
I'll
like,
call 20 people and be like,
you.
I want to forgive you because the feeling of letting go.
It's
letting go.
an
You're like,
amazing
oh my
feeling,
goodness,
bro.
my life is just
Forgive them and forgive yourself and just move on and
100%.
start building up instead of just getting
tearing
stuck
yourself
on the
down.
thing
Yeah.
that-
You
I
literally
feel
spiral
that, man.
down. Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
It's classic. It's a classic. But yeah.
How about you, man?
All right. So, how would you encourage someone to forgive? So, I have a couple steps. You for sure, like you said, to lean into uncomfortable feelings, and whether it be a letter you write and burn, getting everything out that you forgive that person for, writing that letter, burning it, and then also making contact with that person. And the biggest thing is to say how you feel, say what you forgive them for, and that's all you have to do. How they receive it, whether they're angry or feel like, whoa, what did I do to you or that, as long as
Doesn't
you
matter
did your
because you
part,
forgave them.
I'm telling you.
It doesn't matter.
you did your part,
Mhm.
and whatever they say or do is up to them. You've transferred the ball into their court, and that's basically how I would encourage someone. And if you're afraid of a reaction, you're just doing this for yourself, like you said, to give yourself inner peace, because it's opening up more space, like I said in the beginning, to love.
And also,
Love
you
more,
don't
man.
be afraid of that reaction, of that awkward moment,
Yeah.
because it's what's gonna literally. If you're truly forgiving them, then they can curse you out after you forgave them and say it's okay. It doesn't matter. I forgive you. Don't worry, because if you truly forgive them right there and then, they could slap you and say it's all good because I forgave you,
And and
I'm not gonna hold on to
I'm not
all
gonna
this,
hold on because everything that you've done before, this little thing right here.
And again, say they do curse you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And later on, you're already released yourself. You're free.
Yeah.
So again, they could curse you out, but you're good.
Look,
so.
it's if everybody wasn't afraid of being uncomfortable, everybody would be forgiving everybody.
No,
And there's a reason why
Right.
it's so
Yeah, right.
hard.
It's hard.
That's a hard
People
one.
can't.
Yeah.
People have family members that haven't forgiven family members for 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
and then come to a moment where it's like, what the hell
What was
were
it
we
all
even mad
for?
at? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you really need to.
And the classic is sometimes they weren't even mad at the same thing. They end up
I
being
know.
like, "Wait, that's what you were mad at?
That's
I
what
was
you
mad
were
at."
mad at.
Right, 100%.
We never even talked about why we
Yeah,
were bad.
yeah.
Like,
So that's a good
100%.
one. That's a good one, man. Yeah,
All right,
definitely.
guys. Closing.
Go forgive someone.
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, like that should be your
Goal of the week:
20
forgive someone.
Or 2024, just
No, right now.
nothing
Right now.
but forgiveness.
Nothing
Yeah, no,
but
100%. You can do it
forgiveness,
now. You can do it next
take
year.
control of your
Yeah.
life so that nobody else has control of it.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely, man. Forgive someone.
All right, you guys. That was our episode on forgiveness. I'm Jose.
I'm Felipe.
And I'm Kiari.
Till next time.
Peace.